talking about reigniting past members. All right, here we go. Hey, this is Austin with FitPro Tracker, and I got Theresa. She is unbelievable. She is also going to be on the line. She is the gym owner over at Chandler Fit Body Boot Camp. And we also, what's up, Ken? How are you doing, man? You doing well?
Hey, buddy, how you doing? I'm doing good.
I'm doing good. Awesome, man. Well, hey, everybody that is on this call, if you guys can, please do me 3 things. If you can put your name, if you can put your location that you're with, and then also, what do you want to get out of this webinar talking about reigniting past members? So we're going to be going over. So in the chat down below, if you can put your name, location, and what do you want to get out of this? We're going to be starting this thing up and giving you some incredible information. And I got, like I said, Theresa on as well. And she is going to walk through these different steps as a gym owner, what she's going through, different questions as we go through this webinar. So if you can, down in the chat, put those 3 different things down, and then we're going to kick it right off. Hold on, let me hop in, and then we're going to share the screen. Okay. First things first, FitPro Tracker, reigniting past members. How does that work? What are we going to be going over in this webinar? First thing, like I said, put down your name, location, and what do you want to get out of this? What would this look like? Like what a win would look like going through at the very end of this webinar. Now, I get to introduce Theresa. Theresa, she is an owner-operator for Fit Body Boot Camp in Chandler, Arizona. She has unbelievable knowledge. She's been doing this for a long time, and it's very important that you guys understand, since she's been doing it for so long, has incredible amount of knowledge, the good, the bad, what to do, what not to do to grow your gym, and how to ignite past members. So Theresa, since you're on the call right now, I would like to ask you, just kind of give me a background. Who are you? Where have you started? What makes Theresa Theresa?
Well, thank you. It all started, I was actually working in healthcare, going through nursing school, and I was worked on a surgical floor, and I saw all these surgeries that I started thinking about. You know, they're getting their knees replaced, their hips replaced, diabetes, all these surgeries. And I'm like, if they just would have been, taking care of themselves, all these issues like obesity. And then I thought, I want to take more of a proactive approach. So I left the medical field and took all my credits toward nursing school, turned it into health and wellness, into school, and got certified as a personal trainer, and started doing one-on-one personal training. Been doing that for about 15 years. And then my husband was deployed. I heard about this crazy guy called Bedros and said, hey, have you ever thought about, instead of one-on-one, doing boot camp group sessions? I'm like, heck no, never. So he let me get to know Bedros a little bit more through the emails and the books and things like that. And I'm like, wow, this guy's got his head on straight. So signed up for Fit Body Boot Camp. That will be 8 years ago. Next, in just about a month, I'll have been open for 8 years.
Wow, that is incredible. And how was that experience first opening up your gym, getting into just the fitness world, those ups and those downs?
It's incredible. Myself, probably 20 years ago, have struggled with my weight my whole life. 20 years ago, I lost just shy of 100 pounds, about 93 pounds. And so I understand the struggle that people go through. And so being able to be that person that they come in and seek help for, and to be their sounding board, their coach, their support when they need it, their push when they need it, it feeds my soul. I mean, not to sound cheesy, but it really does.
Wow, what an incredible testimony with that. And then you get to see the benefits in helping people. So Thank you for that background. I'm glad that you were able to kind of share that. And hopefully people that are listening to this can also, feel that, because that's one of the reasons we want to focus on the clients and helping them, and, not only physically, but also emotionally, because it goes hand in hand. You want to make sure they're physically fit, but as well as that they're mentally, that that they're doing well. And so that's huge. Well, thank you, Theresa. And really, I think the biggest thing is kind of going into the next part of this webinar is reigniting past members. So we really kind of want to go over the next step. So reigniting. So COVID just hit. It's been tough for the last 12 to 24 months for gym owners, and you might have people leave your gym, maybe because of COVID, maybe because they moved away, but really want to kind of talk about how do you get those past members back into your gym? What do you need to do to get them in and continuing to sign up? So I think the big thing is kind of going over this. We have 4 steps which we recommend on how to reignite your past members. So step number 1 is going to be the reconnect. So what we definitely recommend is making a list of all your clients that have left, whether it's in the last 24 months or last year or the last month, and staying up on that list of, okay, who has left and why did they leave? And what's my strategy to reconnect with them? So you want to have this organized list of who's left in the last, whatever it is, 2 years or 1 year, so that when you do start to develop that plan to reach out, that I have that list in the first place. And what we recommend is to definitely take out the people that have left because they moved, right? They're not going to be coming back to your gym because they're in another state or another city. Theresa, with your background, with you doing what you do with your gym, what would be your thoughts on this? Do you have any recommendations when it comes to creating this list and step number 1, reconnecting?
Well, it's super easy with FitPro Tracker. As soon as they leave, they go into my past member group. I have utilized the use of tags and templates to, like, I'll have a tag, and then I'll set tasks to remind me once they're gone. 2 weeks, we send them like a physical card, just saying, hey, we thank you for your time with us. We miss you. We hope things are going well. And then once whoever does that, they set another task for a month out, and then we have like templates signed up for whether they've been gone for a month and a half, 3 months, 6 months, and then whatever time frame they're on. I'll send them the text. After 6 months, they will get softly introduced back into some of the reactivation specials that we may be running at the time, like come in for your first month free, that kind of things. But each step of the first year, like month and a half, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, they get some sort of communication from me. I don't have it set up in a campaign because a lot of times they do interact with me, and I don't want the campaign to take it back to something about we've already talked about. So it's very hands-on, and I feel like that hands-on personal approach gets them reactivated more than if an automatic email went out saying, hey, how are your kids, when we just had that conversation a month ago.
Right. No, that's great. That's a great point. Another question is, how do you keep your members from leaving? Like, what do you do? Are there any strategies that you use to keep members from leaving?
I am very hands-on. I'm a very hands-on owner. So I know all my members. I know their families. We utilize the Forward tab in FitPro Tracker religiously. And then it's my coaches, they help me out with that. So we get some of that information from like their health questionnaire that they fill out. But then other than that, it's just they've come in for their first day, give them their orientation, and then they're nervous, and so we're just making small talk. Are you married? Do you have kids? That kind of stuff. And then as we're cataloging that information, it gets stored in FitPro Tracker. So another coach can go in and say, oh, I haven't met this person before. What are they like? So we're very personal. We know all our members by first name. Typically, I'll make note if they're going on vacation. I'm just very involved in their lives. If I see them post something special on Facebook, their pet died or something like that, I'm sending them flowers or something to let them know, that kind of things. And we do things as a community. We have a lot of workshops within the gym, based on things that they want to hear about. I usually will ask them, 2 months in advance, hey, what do you guys want the workshop on in June? And if it involves me bringing somebody in to put on the workshop, then I have time to find somebody. We'll go hiking. We've done paddle boarding, bowling. We had axe throwing at one point, but that got nixed because of the COVID thing. So we just do things in and outside of the gym, and we call ourselves, Fit Family. Celebrate birthdays with burpees, milestones, all that kind of fun stuff. On February the 22nd, we wore tutus for 22.
That's awesome. No, that's great. And and I think the big thing is that community, right? And we do have some articles on how to build out that community inside your gym. And it sounds like you guys are, the star student. You are the ones that are building that community, because it's, anybody can download an app and, have their own workout, but it's that community that brings them together, that holds them accountable. So I love it. That is great. So reconnecting, like you were talking about, you use FitPro Tracker to make that list, to keep track of them by tagging them. But then you talked about the forward, which we can go into here later, but it's actually in FitPro Tracker. It's one of the tabs, and it just will kind of give you like the occupation, what their goals are and whatnot. So that is great info. We're going to hop into step number 2, which is relationship. So it's like you were talking about before, we are in a relationship business, right? When I ran my gym, it was all about who they are, knowing their name, jumping in and making sure that they felt like they were one of a kind, they were special. And it's also important that we keep notes on each client. So what I've noticed is, especially as helping different gyms as they first are starting, or maybe they've been around for 5 to 7 years, is they don't have these notes. And I really try and encourage them to have notes, whether you're saving it in a different system or maybe you're writing it down, but have different ways of quickly being able to see each person, whether it's what are their kids' names, or where do they work, or how do they how are they feeling. You want to have these notes, because as you're reaching out to them, it's making them feel special. And big time for what I've noticed on when I was running my gym was when someone came in the door, man, we made it a big deal. Hey, what's your name? Like, we wanted to reach out to them. And after, like you were talking about, Theresa, was once we found out some of their likes or dislikes, or their kids' names, was then writing it down and making sure that we really asked them about their kids or their jobs, so that they felt special. And that's what we're going for. That's why we opened up gyms. That's why we're running gym, is for that. And so the big thing is making sure that you have a place that you can go and look at this, whether it's on a Google sheet, whether it's on a notepad, or if it's in a system like FitPro Tracker, having those notes. And just a couple of questions, Theresa, with this is, what have you seen that works best to keep these notes for these clients?
Like I said, I use the Ford for their basic information, family, occupation, recreation, dreams, anything special like that, or something that I want to draw attention to. I have a spreadsheet that's always available on the front desk, and the coaches will go in before their shift starts and look at it, like, Austin's coming back from his vacation today, ask him how Hawaii was. So whoever's coaching that day, maybe they don't remember that they went to Hawaii, but oh yeah, that's right. So I'm going to ask them. So things like that, that's available right there on the front desk, so they can see it at one glance. And then we usually do, again, I'm down to one coach right now, so it's just him and I. So we have meetings every day. We'll pick we'll each go over like some members that we saw progressions on, Austin got up and did his first pull-up today, and the session celebrated it, so I'm aware of it. And so then the next time I see them, I'm like, oh my gosh, I heard from you, did your a pull-up. That's amazing, things like that. Or Theresa hurt her knee, so pay special attention to her on leg day, that kind of stuff. That we talk about daily, but it also gets put on that spreadsheet as well.
And you have that spreadsheet you said up at the front of the desk so that all your your trainers and whatnot staff can look at that and see that. Yeah, that is great. And then how do you get it? I mean, do you send out forms? Do you ask them? Like, what is your techniques of getting that information?
Some of it comes off of their health readiness form that they fill out, or just like conversations. I meet with as many of my members a month that want to, so I send out a Calendly link, and they can schedule 15 minutes with me to either get measured, do their weight and body fat on the in-body, go over nutrition goals. And so those 15 minutes, sometimes they're just coming in to catch up and talk, and I'm fine with that, because then that gives me a lot of information, and then it goes right back into the spreadsheet so that the coaches can utilize that to make themselves better coaches. Because there's certain things that, like I've said, I've been open for 8 years next month. I have members that have been with me from day one. They're going to feel comfortable telling me something, but not the coach, but I can disseminate that information to the coach in a way that they don't feel like they're getting gossiped about.
Definitely. No, that's great advice. And I'm glad that you're able to kind of go over how you get that information, which leads us into the next point, which is a reach out, right? This is where, making sure that you have, that list, your relationship, because that relationship, that information is vital too when you do reach out, and making it sound personal, which is going to be step number 3, which is, what do you do? How do you make this reach out, and what's the process? Now, there's multiple ways to go about it, as you guys know, but one of the ones that we recommend is making a Grand Slam offer, right? You want to engage your past clients with this Grand Slam offer that is, addresses the 3 different points, which is fears, frustrations, and desires. So what they want, and making sure it's enticing enough to get them back into the door. So when you do reach out to them on step number 3, you have an offer to give, like, hey, Mary Sue, how are you doing? How are your kids? Hey, I know that you were past members, but we have this unbelievable offer. This is what it is. But it has to be enticing enough that they go, wow, I want to join back. And I think that's really the big piece of the reach out, is using step 1, right? Making the list. Step 2, talking about your relationships. But then step 3, when you do actually make that reach out of, hey, there's a reason why we we're contacting you, is for this Grand Slam offer. What does it look like? And this is the reason why we want to get you back in the door. Past members, they already know who you are. You built that relationship. But when you do reach out and you offer it, you want them to go, wow, okay, yeah, this looks great. Now, it's not going to be everybody, as we all know, but this definitely helps it if you hit their fears, frustration, and desires with that offer. Now, going into the reach out, it's like I wrote here, it's not just walking the walk or talking the talk, it's actually going out and doing it. So this is the most critical part, is that reach out. You mentioned it earlier, Theresa. Some of them you personally do, sometimes you put into like an automatic campaign. So just kind of want to quickly go over that manual reach out versus having a system automatic. So manual, can you kind of explain when you manually put somebody or manually reach out to them?
Yep. So we'll set tasks on their profile and in their after 2 weeks of being gone, because sometimes in those 2 weeks, they're like, I don't know what I was thinking, I want to come back. But if they're not back within those 2 weeks, well, that's when we send out, the handwritten card. We miss you. Hope this finds you well. If you ever need anything in the future, please do not hesitate to reach back out. And then we set a task in FitPro Tracker to follow up in a month. And at that point, that's when we kind of start using more of the personal things, like, I was thinking, or, I saw this on TV and I thought about your daughter and how you told me that story that with her tennis shoes or whatever, things that have been accumulated in their Ford tab, things like that, to where, you can use that personal touch. And then usually that's a month and a half, and then 3 months, it's just a quick text, hey, how are you doing? Just wanted to reach out. That one spurs a lot of conversation, because by then it's 3 months. They're either well on their way, happy at another place, and I will celebrate that, or they're feeling those frustrations that you talked about, like, I thought I could do this on my own, it's not working. And then at that point, depending on how that conversation goes, we either do an offer, or then it's set back out. If we feel like another month we should reach out, we will, but typically we wait another 2 months, reach back out, and then at that point we'll do whatever we're offering at the time. If it's like a lot of, we'll switch back and forth between three major, or three common ones that we use, is the buy 1 month get 1 month free, or buy 3 months for $400, because they know how much we regularly are. So they'll feel like they're getting a discount, or like some sort of paid in full, a little bit longer than that, depending on what they, or their original membership with us was.
Love it. And it amazes me, because you have it all like patent ready to go. You have all the systems in your FitPro Tracker. And I've worked with new gym owners and gym owners that have been around, and I asked them, hey, what's your reach out strategy? Like, what are you going to do? And they're like, well, I'll call, or I might send a text and I'm done. And they go, well, my systems don't talk. And it's, to have a system to be able to do it all in one place is vital. I think that's number one. But number two, to have it organized so that when they do leave, or when you're ready to start that next step of like, hey, I have my list created, I'm going to start the reach out, whether you're doing it manually or if you're doing it automatic, you have the ability to do it both ways. The reason why option 2 is up there is because I have talked to gym owners that they are a one-man show or a one-woman show, and they are the trainer, they're the owner, and they're the assistant to themselves, and they're doing all the paperwork, all the bookwork right there. And so we wanted to give those two options of like, yes, you can manually do it and put it in a campaign where you have follow-ups every 2 weeks, or every week and then 2 weeks to manually do this, or you can set it up automatically and let the system work for you. Now, going back to some of these new gym owners, I've asked them, I said, okay, what's your process? And they go, well, I don't really have one. And maybe I call, and then maybe I text. But as they start to grow and people become past members, they don't have anything set up. And when their staff doesn't have a direction, then the gym doesn't have a direction. And so really just understanding, if you want it to be manual, great, do it. But if you want to if you're a one-man show or a one-woman show, having a campaign set up that works with the text, the email, and the call follow-up, because you can let the system do it for you. If you do not want to manually be reaching out, now you can still make it personal, and I'm going to show you here in a second, but still having that ability to let the system do it and send out the text, then wait 2 days, send out an email, maybe wait 4 more days, have a personal call, wait another couple more days, and then have a text. And you're letting the system do it, and you're not the one thinking, hey, am I on day 4? Am I on day 5? And I'm trying to follow up with 20 people. This is just a plug-in, and then turn it on and send it to the group that you want as a batch campaign. One more question is, since you've been doing this for so long, Theresa, what is your thoughts on if they're longer than 1 year, are you still reaching out to them?
Yes, so it's sporadically. Once they're gone a year, that's when I put them into like the campaigns and things like that. So I don't forget about them, and they're still being contacted, but they're very generic texts and emails, just something to hopefully jumpstart a conversation, like how's, same thing as like the 3 months, how are you doing? You've been on my mind this week, what's new in your world? Things like that it could be sent out at any time and sound genuine, but just hoping that it spurs some sort of conversation. And at that point, then it turns into more of the personal manual, like, well, what are you up to? What are you doing? Where are you working out? That kind of stuff. But once they're past a year, it does get longer. And I can't, to be honest, I think if anybody has reactivated with me past 2 years, it's their doing. They've reached out to me and said, hey, I want to come back. It's not due to probably an email or anything. I mean, they still get my newsletter and stuff like that, so that may keep me in front of mind, but it's usually them reaching out. So I'm really faithful up to about that point. And then if they're coming back, it's usually something that spurred them from their end.
Love it. Love it. Oh, it's great stuff. And now it's interesting. We have talked about FitPro Tracker and the multiple forms. So we have come up with a campaign that, this is kind of the strategy of day one, making an SMS, sending it out, making it personal, make that offer inside there. And then day two, having a personal call or follow-up. If there's no answer, then going into day three, which is an email reminder. And this is just a 2-week strategy to reignite past members. Day 6 is another text reminder. Day 9, another email, and then a follow-up call, and then an email and SMS on day 14, and then dropping them down into a nurture campaign. So this would be something that you could let the system do. Now, this is 14 days. You can spread this out, but you want to have, like we said before, a system that was able to talk to each other, whether it's another system or FitPro Tracker, where you can do all 3 lines of communication: text, email, and call is vital, and that they talk to each other. So then you can just plug in the group of 20 people, 30 people, whoever the list is that you have made for the last 6 months to a year, and then start that campaign to start following up with them. Now, the cool thing is if you have FitPro Tracker, I'm going to hop down into my next slide, is if you have FitPro Tracker, I'm going to actually copy this code and put it in the chat right now. And all you have to do, because I got 3 people, I got Ken right now that I know has FitPro Tracker, James and Ryan. You guys all have it. So what you can do, take that code that I just put in the chat, and you can copy it, put it into your FitPro Tracker, and now you have that campaign that was already pre-built. It's for reigniting past members. Again, you can go and edit it, you can change it, whatever you want to do, but now you have that code down in the chat, and you can copy and paste it in the FitPro Tracker, and you guys will have it right there. So that is down in the chat. The last step, number 4, we're almost done, guys, and then we can get to Q&A, is gonna be making the request. What we've noticed is, especially with newer gyms, is that when they do make that reach out, they're almost too afraid to make the request. And it's just as important as reaching out, but you wanna make sure that you make that request. It's a low pressure, open-ended question, like, hey, what time works best for you? Or are you interested in signing back up with this? Or are you interested in this offer? You're making a low pressure, open-ended question using the relationship that you've had before, but it's also connecting with them on a personal level. So it's when you make that grand slam offer that you make that request. Theresa, when you have talked with people on the phone, what has been your experience when you're making this request? What I always go by is the old adage, you'll miss every single shot that you don't take. There's some people that get nervous when they're making a request. Like, what's been your experience in the past doing reaching out to past members?
The easiest, and this FitBody helps me with this because they do the challenges. So that's the easiest time I find to reach out to people that have been out of the gym for almost a year, a little bit longer, is because, especially if there's past members and then there's people that just tried us out. Like, past members, they know what the challenges are like. They see the excitement, they see the results. So that's an easy way for me to connect with them and just say, hey, we have another challenge starting up. I know how much you enjoyed them and you got great results. Why don't you come back and join us for this challenge? That's by far the easiest way to do it because they're already familiar with it. And that's something that is common ground for both of us. So there's not a whole lot of explanation to it. So that's what I find the easiest.
Oh, definitely. And what's really cool is you can create that challenge, that checkout page inside. And while you're sending them the text or the email, you can include that checkout page for them to sign up for that challenge. If they're interested, you just, boom, you get alerted, take the checkout page, the URL, send it to them, and they can sign right up in that checkout page. That's great advice. My other question is, what systems, I know it's FitPro Tracker, are you using any other systems to contact your clients, or is it just solely FitPro Tracker?
FitPro Tracker, the only other system I use, and again, this is not necessarily for like reactivation, is Calendly, just so they can schedule appointments and stuff like that. I do use that for like orientations as well. So if somebody new's coming in, they can see my availability and schedule an orientation through that. Other than that, that's it.
Cool. Well, great. Well, great. And we're almost done, guys. I know you guys have been with us for 30 minutes, so we're really excited. And last but not least, I already kind of went over the code. If you are using FitPro Tracker right now, all you got to do is copy and paste it into your FitPro, and you're going to have the campaign right there. That was the 14-day, the 2-week strategy to follow up, and just let it run itself. Of course, if you want to edit it, build on top of it, go ahead. But now you have it. You don't even have to do the work. We did it for you. The next thing is Q&A. Do you guys have any questions? I know there have been questions that have come in the past, but any questions, Ken, James, anybody that's on the line regarding reigniting past members, for myself, or Theresa, or FitPro Tracker in general?
Let me get it started. So one of the biggest challenge we had is those clients that don't come into the studio. Those are the ones that we're losing. It's been really, I send an SMS and sometimes I give him a call, but sometimes I don't get a response. How do we get them back in? Because I know for sure by the time their membership is time to renew, they're going to cancel. And that's what we've been seeing beginning of this year,
I do the same as you. Once they're gone, if I don't see somebody within 3 days, I'm texting them, and saying, hey, I haven't seen you check in. Sometimes that gets a response, and sometimes it's, oh, I've been sick or something like that. So then I can set a note and remind myself to double check in a week or two to make sure that they're back in. The ones that are gone for a long period of time, once it gets past, like, and we'll say COVID notwithstanding, because I know that can sometimes take a little bit longer to heal from, but like 2, 3, 4 weeks. And if they're still not back in the gym, and they've stopped communicating through text or email, I will call them. And a lot of times what I found, they're a little apprehensive about coming in. One, because they've been sick. If that's the case, they know what day one feels like. They're scared that they're starting back over, and it's just, reiterating that they're going to be fine, come back in. But once they stop answering the phone calls, once they stop answering the texts, it's just, I still will text them, I still will call them, just so they know that we're still there. But you're right, at that point, it's a matter of time, when they're going to cancel. But I don't give up on them. I'll still email them, I'll still text them. I had somebody that came back after 3 months of being gone, wasn't sick, just didn't want to work out, and came back, and that was the first thing he said was, thank you for not cutting the line. I needed to know that somebody was there, and I need to get back to it.
Yeah, great question, Ken. Great question.
And
what you can do as well is you can make a campaign that was like, that's a follow-up, just, hey, and it's if they get to a certain point where it just is following up, it's almost like a drip campaign, but it's like a text, every month, just reaching out, or every 2 weeks or whatnot. And of course, changing the time and the date that it goes out, but you just let the system just continue to keep reaching out to them. Like Theresa was saying, she was reaching out and that person said, hey, you know what? Thank you so much for continuing to reach out. We don't know if it's going to be the first time that you reach out or the 10th time, and it might not be it might be they want to cancel, but at least you're top of mind until you finally get your closure.
Oh, I'll jump in on that too with, I don't know if you have, what your coaching staff looks like. But we have a lot of retention work that coaches do during their downtime. It's a way for them to earn a few extra hours and that kind of stuff. And my thought process has always been that if they're paying dues, and the way that we earn those dues, if they're not coming in, is to continue to follow up. And just like Theresa and Austin been saying, like, whether you do it, automatically or whatnot, it's, you're following up with them every single week. You're making sure that they're staying, you know, that they know that you're there. That's how we earn our dues, because they're obviously not taking up, you know, real estate inside the studio. And just to piggyback on what Teresa's saying, you know, a lot of them are like, I'm going to go back on Monday. I'm going to go back on Monday. And, you know, and something about that first day soreness, first week soreness just kind of keeps them out of the studio. But that's how you earn those dues, is you just keep following up and say, hey, you know what, worst case scenario, at least I was there.
Love it. That was great, James. Yeah, and it's just that constant following up, and you can do it manual, you can do it automatic, but it's just constantly following up, whether it's a text, whether it's an email, just or a call, a follow-up call. But what we've noticed is, again, if you are a one-man show or you have a massive team, having that setup, and you can just create manual follow-ups where it's a campaign where it's every 2 weeks that a follow-up task is created inside FitPro Tracker, or if it's a text or an email that is sent out that's personalized, but still continuing to follow up, because like it could be the first time or the 10th time that they reach back out. But yeah, great question. Anything else? Any other questions? Awesome. Awesome, guys. Well,
I have one more question. I have a question.
Yeah, of course.
So I know, Theresa, you talked about, you know, having different offers, and, you know, obviously, Austin, you talked about this as well. So when you're bringing them back, at what point, or do you have a point, you know, and I know we all have the flexibility to be able to reinstate rates and whatever it may be. And obviously, we're all in the process of raising rates, you know, which is always our ultimate goal. So at what point do you guys kind of say, okay, if they come back in a month, hey, you know what, I'll reinstate your rate. And I'm just kind of looking for, I guess, a general best practice, you know, what you found has worked for you, or, you know, if it's been 6 months, if it's like, all right, it's our current rates, like you used to pay a lower amount, but, you know, we'll let you come in, pay 2 months or, you know, pay 1 month and get 2 months for free. And then at that point, you'll just continue at your current rate.
I do, and that's part of like when they let me know that they're canceling for whatever reason, you know, if it's something, you know, that you can't combat, I'm moving, things like that. It's like, all right, best wishes, good luck. If it's, you know, I'm sure we've all had these, you know, this isn't for me, it's not working, that kind of thing. I do let them know that the door's always open, but they will be subject to our most current prices. With that being said, like James, like you said, we do have the flexibility. So if they would come back within a month, I have given them their old price back. But if they come back past that, you know, and when I am giving them the, you know, buy a month, get one, or buy 3 months for this, I do let them know, you know, this is our current rate. So after those 3 months, it will go to this. Sometimes they take advantage of those 3 months and they don't stay on. That gets noted in FitPro Tracker. So I just know not to offer them, you know, that grand slam again, that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Awesome. Anything else before I let you guys go and we drop down to the next slide?
I do have like, I do have one thing that will kind of, it'll make it a little bit easier for the follow-up, and this is in the future, but I'm starting to write up stories for it, or like triggers. So like this person hasn't checked in for 7 days. We want to make the system to where that's a trigger, and then you can decide what to do with that trigger. Are they going to go into a missing in action campaign? Are they going to get a task put on? So we are working on triggers based off of certain events in the system, so it's not so manual. Even if you use a campaign, there's a manual aspect to the campaign. So that will make this whole process so much easier with like triggers and stuff like that.
And what's great is, remember, FitPro Tracker is built by gym owners for gym owners. So if you guys have, if you're on this call that have FitPro Tracker, write in down on the bottom left-hand side, write in your suggestions of what you would like. And we're looking at that daily to make it better and better and better. And that's the beauty of having a CRM system with a billing system. So now you can text, you can email, you soon will be able to call out, and then you can have automatic campaigns, referral management forms, resource vault, live chat, support. But now that you have billing built in, you have your payment processing, your booking, your client mobile app, your point of sales, your checkout pages, your kiosk, and report in one place. But now, if someone doesn't check in, like Theresa was saying, we're making it so, boom, they automatically go into a campaign, or a flag is brought up. So we want to hear your suggestions. And if you're on FitPro Tracker and you're on this call, write in. We want to hear it. We want to make this system be the best it can be for you guys. And if you're not on this, well, guess what? We got Jody Rund. This is her testimonial that FitPro Tracker has been a total game changer for her 3 locations. And she's always had that lack of, between different systems, that fragmentation. She said it was ridiculous, right? How many different systems they had. I just got off a call from another person that's using close to 7 systems. So with FitPro Tracker, she has it in one place where she can do all her CRM, her texting, her emails, and her billing. With that, we go right into FitPro Tracker Special. So it's $299 a month, but if you sign up within the next week, if you schedule a demo within the next week, 50% off your first 6 months. And if you don't like it, for the first 90 days, we'll double your money back guarantee. The link is going to be down here. It's going to be www.fitprotracker.com/offer/FitPro FPT webinar. And then you guys can get 50% off your first 6 months, as well as double your money back if you are not satisfied within the first 90 days. Of course, terms and conditions apply. And then my last but not least is CJ, the gym owner. He is awesome. He said FitPro Tracker is the best, hands down. There's no other fitness business system out there. So again, I just want to thank you all for being on this call. Theresa, thank you for your insight. We really do appreciate it. And if you have any questions, if you need anything, let us know. We're always here, as well as we're going to be doing this every single first of the Wednesday. We do the webinars, and we're going to have different speakers. Sometimes it will be Theresa, sometimes it will be other people in the fitness industry that are leaders that are helping move the needle forward for your guys' gyms and studios. But again, thank you so much. You all have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday, and we'll talk soon. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.